dreamt that I was in a beautiful room and there were fish swimming everywhere. There were big fish and little fish, happy fish and mean fish. It was amazing. I wonder if there are any books on fishing in here. Mom!
Yes?
Do we have any books on fishing?
You might check the bookshelf.
Yes, but I don't see any, and I looked on all the shelves. 'Cause I just read a story about Jesus and how he turned 2 fishes and 5 loaves into feeding 5,000 people. And it got me wondering about how he did that miracle and about how to catch a fish. Maybe I should ask Dad to take me fishing. Hi, Daddy.
Well, hi, Amy. How are you today?
I'm good. I have a question for you.
Sure, what is it?
Would you please teach me how to go fishing?
You like to go fishing?
Well, I don't know. I've never done it.
Oh, well, there's so many different ways to go fishing. What type of fishing would you like to do? Do you want to go out into the ocean?
No, thank you.
Do you want to fish on a river?
Is this a river?
No, this is actually a lake. A lake is something that's not very fast moving, and you could just throw your line out and hopefully you'll catch something.
I think that's what I want to do. Can we do that, please?
Absolutely. You know, because there's so many different fish. There's some like this big and some this big and some this big. And depending upon what you use as bait will determine what kind of fish you catch. So let me show you a couple things over here in our tackle box. Okay, Amy, well, this is what's called a tackle box. And if you look in here, we have all kinds of little goodies that we think maybe the fish would use to bite on. Doesn't always mean we have what they're really hungry for, but we have things like this.
Ew, ew.
Would you like to try a bite?
No, thank you.
Well, some fish don't like it either, but this kind of mimics what a grasshopper might look like, or a lizard, and fish like to eat some things like that. Or we have something like this. This is what's called a popper, and you throw this out into the water and it mimics injured fish. And I don't know if you're aware of it, but big fish eat little fish a lot of times.
I didn't know that because I watch National Geographic.
Ah, a great channel to watch. So you can see we've got different size ones. And if you really want to go for bigger fish, then you use something like this. So the thing that I like to use the most is what's called a rubber worm. And it's just a little rubber thing that wiggles and jiggles. And you can find those pretty much anywhere. If you turn over logs when you're in the woods, or if you go get a shovel and turn over the dirt, a lot of times you'll find a worm. And we're just gonna take a little piece of that worm and put it on a hook. Would you like me to show you how?
Sure, please, but I don't want to touch the worm. Is that okay?
That's okay. I'll help you out this time. But sometime later on, when you get a little bit older, you might have to put the worms on yourself, and that's okay. You just have to remember, it's just a worm going on a hook.
I would try it, I guess.
Alrighty. Well, let's go get our fishing pole, and we'll put the worm on, and we'll show you how to cast.
Okay, sounds good.
I told you that we use this piece of worm. If you don't have a lot of money, you can go buy some fishing hooks for about $1, and that's all it costs. So you buy a hook and you dig yourself some worms, and you just take that hook and you put it through this. This is just a fake worm.
So wait, Daddy, does that mean it's not real?
It's not real. This is just a piece of rubber that looks like a worm. You can see that I put it through there. So I put the hook through that worm, and then you can see I've got a barb right here. If I don't cover that barb, it's gonna get caught on the bottom maybe. So I'll take that barb and I'll hide it inside that worm, just like that. Now I've got the hook inside the worm, and the point of the hook is not sticking out, so this shouldn't get caught on the grass or any weeds or anything that would be in the lake. So are you ready to go fishing now?
I'm ready.
So Amy, now that we have our worm on the hook, it's time to cast our line out. So this is what's called a fishing reel, and this is a fishing pole. I'm going to take that string. Can you see this? This is called a fishing string.
Yep, I see it.
I'm going to hold that fishing string against the fishing pole, open this little thing up, and what that does is it lets this fishing line fall right off the reel. So I'm going to hold that, and I'm going to make like I'm throwing maybe an apple on the end of a stick, but in this case, I've got a worm on the end of a stick. And I'm going to take it and just toss it out like that. And I let go of that string when I wanted the line, that little worm, to go out into the water. So now we're actually fishing. Would you like to try holding the pole?
Yes, please.
Well, you're kind of small, Amy, and this pole is kind of heavy, so I'm going to hold your hands onto it. So now we'll just jiggle the pole a little bit and then reach over here and occasionally turn this handle, which makes the worm dance out in the water.
Dance, I like to dance.
That's why I thought you might like fishing. So now we'll jiggle the pole, we'll turn the handle, and if we're lucky, we'll catch a fish.
Yeah, fishy, fishy.
Would you like me to help you haul them in?
I just did, Daddy, thank you.
Okay, you're doing a fine job. Oh, we've got a bite, we've got a bite. Let's wind it, let's wind it. Look it. It's a big one. Let's keep going.
Daddy, it's so big. You're using a net just like the disciples did. Come on, fishy. We sure appreciate your sacrifice. Daddy, I think it was fun.
Well, I'm glad that you had a good time. Would you like to do this again some other time?
Yes, please.
Well, I would love to have you join me for that. But there's one last thing we need to do. We can't leave our worm on the hook and leave this just slinging around. So I'm going to take the worm off the hook and I just pull it off, put it back in our tackle box. And this hook that's so sharp, I'm going to attach it to the pole and tighten the pole up so that that hook can't swing around. Doesn't that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense.
So the next time we go fishing, you think you can remember to do that too?
I sure can.
Well, perfect. You know, I so appreciate you coming out and enjoying some fishing time with me.
Me too.
That means a lot to me. Let me give you a big hug. Ooh, I really love you.
I really love you too.
Have a great afternoon. Are you going to go play with your friends now?
I sure am. I'm going to tell Jacob what we did today. He's going to be so happy.
Well, you know, maybe the next time we do this, Jacob could come along, as long as his mommy and daddy say that it's okay.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Thanks, Dad.
Okay, you have a good afternoon. I'll see you when I get back up to the house.
Okay, sounds good. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Did you know that even bears are fishermen? That's right. They try to catch fish that swim by with their paws. It's amazing watching them. They're so incredibly fast. Pelicans dive in to eat their fish, and so do egrets. Watch. He grabs it. There it is, and now he's eating it. Isn't that amazing? My daddy says he likes to be out in the ocean because that's where he feels closest to God. There are so many stories in the Bible about fish, like when the disciples were tired and Jesus told them to cast their nets on the side of the boat one more time. And they caught so many fish, it was hard to pull them in. But the disciples obeyed. And then there was the story about the boy who caught 2 fish and he had 5 loaves of bread. And Jesus fed the 5,000 people and more that were there. So the next time you want to go fishing, remember the stories about Jesus and how many miracles he did.